Yep, there'd have been some suing going on.
I mean, we all know we pay enough taxes. I don't have a kid in school anymore.
Well, I don't
have
either,
a grandchild, but I still pay taxes.
Yeah, I pay the same amount of taxes.
And I'm perfectly fine with paying those taxes so that all the little children in our community can eat.
Yeah, 100%.
I can't think of anybody that would go, no, fuck them kids. They don't get to eat.
Well,
and if they do, we don't care what they
And that's the thing. You take the city of Cabot. How many families are there that actually have kids in school? And then how many families are there
like us that don't?
Kids are already out of school, never had kids, whatever. But guess what? Every one of them is paying the school millage tax. And you cannot fucking tell me that they don't have enough money.
And we're not
if
bitching.
It's managed correctly.
We're not bitching about the school millage. I am totally fine paying taxes for education, children. Because guess what? If we don't feed them and educate them, they're going to fuck us up. Okay, so we want them to have a good foundation.
But that's the thing. It's not like, okay, well,
they're barely
only the ones that have kids are paying,
nope.
And we didn't set it high. No. You have more people paying the school millage than go into the system.
You know what? There are two things that I have no problem. Well, there's a couple of things that I have no problem with my tax money going to. First responders' salaries, totally fine with that. City workers' salaries, totally cool with that. School stuff, I really don't like it going to the football team shit because I think they get enough shit anyway, but whatever. And keeping the roads up, without giant fucking potholes in them.
Well, and I mean, that's like one of my personal pet peeves.
The roads?
Like, that just how tax money is appropriated. Because people are always like, oh, you want everybody to have health care? How you want to pay for that? You want it to be free? No, fucker. I pay taxes. They take a lot of money from me every year. And I don't want it to go to blow people up. I want it to keep people alive. And I understand that we have to fight wars and we have to have a military.
We
have to have a military presence.
Yeah.
I get that.
Well,
but you can't tell me. I've never heard anybody go, oh, well, we would bomb them, but we can't come up with the money. There's always money for that, but there's not money to feed people.
That's the problem that I have with the homeless veteran issue. And I'm a vet. I'm not homeless, so that's good. But I am a vet.
We are, in fact, in your home.
Yeah. So when I say this, I don't want people to think, oh, well, you're anti-government or whatever the fuck, because I work for the government and I am a vet, so neither one of those fucking things would be true.
I'm anti-government.
Which is funny because you work for the government too.
I know, and they suck. I see the inside of it, so I know how it works.
But here's the thing. There's a significant problem with homeless veterans. We have enough money to get homes for all of them. Every one of them.
Well, there's enough vacant homes.
Yeah, it's not like every home in this country is filled up and we're going, where the fuck are we going to put these people? We have space.
It's not just the homeless.
We have resources.
It's not just the homeless.
I saw a house on Redfin in Little Rock the other day at $5,000.
It's
$5,000. That's it.
Really?
What?
For a house. It was in a bad part of Little Rock.
Yeah, that's why $5,000.
I mean, it's an issue across the board. It's not just homelessness. It's health care. It's homelessness. It's I saw a thing the other day about a guy, and I can't remember where he was from, whatever, but he served in the military, served in Iraq, and now we're deporting him. I don't know the whole story.
Okay,
but
so
a guy that served in the military should never be deported.
I looked that up because I didn't believe that. I don't understand how that can happen. So I did look it up. I actually read about it for at least a couple minutes. So there is a program. I don't know the specifics 100%. This is just what I remember. It's been a couple months ago.
I think I've heard this myself.
There's a program where you can fast track your citizenship if you join the military.
For military service.
And and I want to say, I don't know that it's every branch, but I think it is, because we had a guy in my basic training flight.
We had it in the Army.
Well, we had a guy in my basic training flight that was an immigrant from Colombia. So
I've read the same explanation before.
And what I read was the only way he was going to get deported is because apparently if you finish your contract and then there's still some other shit that you have to do. I don't know. I can't remember what the other shit is, but if you don't do that other shit, Yeah. Okay. And it's on you to do that other shit.
I get that.
You've already done the hard part.
I mean, if that other shit is spelled out, then okay, I get that.
I'm sure it wasn't convoluted. It was probably a fucking checklist.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, if it was spelled out, fine. I get that. I got no problem with
Now, if it was one of those things where it's like, oh, you forgot to fill out...
You didn't read the fine print.
Yeah, then that's like bullshit.
Then, that's bullshit.
But, if you know that you're supposed to do X, Y, and Z, and you don't do X, Y, and Z...
Then, is that just in general, or was that his case?
No, that was in general. I didn't hear exactly.
I've heard that about other cases.
I just didn't know if that was.
I didn't find out exactly what he had.
Or if he did something and broke the law, and they're like, okay, null and void.
I didn't get the specifics.
But beyond that, I mean, if you served in the military, if you went overseas and fought in a war. You should. I mean, I'm not saying we got to set you up in a mansion or anything else.
But you shouldn't go. Not throw you out.
You shouldn't go bankrupt paying for your fucking health care or shit like that. That's an asinine. Mm-hmm. Well, you saved our ass out there, but fuck you. I mean,
you're on your own now.
Well, that.
And I guarantee you, none of those kids, because a lot of times they are kids.
Oh yeah.
Said, well. I'm going to join up because, I love this place and all that. I mean, they volunteered. Some of them were drafted, whatever.
None of them were drafted.
But I'm talking Vietnam.
Oh, yeah, most of them were drafted in Vietnam.
I'm talking, we still have Vietnam veterans living on the streets.
See, and
but now, to be fair, a lot of those... that's a choice, and I'm not saying they're mentally ill.
Yes, I know that too.
Yeah, that's another thing they need to step up on.
Yeah,
as a lot of these guys are on the street because either they can't afford health care or mental care, or they're not able to get to appointments to have something done, and they end up on the street. Because no one's taking care of them anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And a lot of them are so damaged by the war we put them through that they can't function in normal society.
That right there, that's what burns my ass.
That makes me angry.
So much that I can't even put it into words. More so than getting denied my fucking hearing loss, even though the doctor told me I had hearing loss.
Well,
at the VA, but then they sent me the sorry butt letter. But when you send motherfuckers off to war, a lot of people like to... especially politicians, they love to say stupid shit about how honorable it is to go off and
the fuck it is
and fight battles and shit.
It's painful and dirty and awful.
It's the most horrifying thing you could ever think of experiencing.
Why do these people come back so scarred?
Exactly. Nobody goes over there and they were forged in the fire of combat. That's what they like to say. And that's fucking ridiculous. Nobody goes and blows people apart and comes back a better person for it. No one. Not one. And if you do, you're bad fucked up before you left.
Yeah.
Yep.
We send...
And that,
we as a nation send these kids. They are fucking kids.
There's a tiny percentage that are veterans that actually go.
When I went into basic training, I was 18 years old. Think about where you were. Oh my God. When my daughter was 18 years old, son of a bitch.
I was there. It was, wow.
I mean,
I was 17 when I went.
Could you imagine Austin going into the military
at 18?
At 18,
they'd have thrown him out for impregnating all the female recruits.
I mean, the boy's a slut. We can't have that.
So these kids are going over there. They're coming back and they're bad broken.
Well, how can they not be with the things they see and the things they experience? The things they have to do, but they're just kind of when they come back and they're all used up. And I don't mean that in like.
No, you're absolutely right.
They're so broken, but nobody thinks about trying to put them back together. We just throw them out into the world, and they're not prepared for this world that's where you don't have all these these restrictions, and they're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, people are like, well, why is there so much PTSD? You can't. It's impossible for you to understand the culture shock of going from civilian life to military combat back to civilian life until you've done it.
Well,
you
it's
know,
not, and that's the other thing too. It's not like you're going over to these countries as a tourist.
Yeah, no,
so
you're going over there.
There's a lot of culture shock there too.
Yeah, exactly. And you go from, you know, being happy-go-lucky to having to look for fucking IEDs everywhere you drive.
And let's face it, they're not just shooting other fully armed men and women. They're shooting. They're having to make, you know, there are kids that they have to shoot depending on what's happening, because we know that the people that they fight against do some dirty shit. Mm-hmm. Women, children, they have to cross lines that the human psyche is not really meant to cross. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how they, and like I said, used up, and I don't mean that like that they have no more value, just that everything's just sort of been stripped away. And I would imagine, now I've never been in combat, I've never been in the military because I knew myself better than that. I have a real problem with authority. I don't know if that's ever come across.
So does she.
Yeah, and she did it.
It didn't last very long.
I wish I could have hidden watched that. But I mean, I just don't understand.
Probably a lot of crying and a lot of cussing, if I had to guess. Is that pretty accurate?
Let me tell you, I went in a very quiet person who let people walk all over me.
I just can't imagine.
I came out a different person.
I just can't imagine you being like that. But, you know, like, I don't understand why there's not intensive, like, re-entry programs. And maybe there are some, I don't understand, but clearly they're not doing enough because the rate of veterans killing themselves is astounding. And so we give them, we prepare them to go in. We do, like, all this basic training, we do all this, and I understand it may not be enough, but you're still I'm sure you are. But what I'm saying is they know that they have to prepare them to go into the lifestyle. Mm-hmm. But then they seem to just...
Well, no,
you're done now.
When I got out, there was a 2.5 day transition assistance training course. 2.5 day. Yep. And
that transition course is also getting your finances.
Yeah, that's what it was.
We're talking about business stuff.
Yeah, it's not like getting your head right.
No. I'm talking about. No, you're talking about something else. The one that I'm talking about is I had to go to Simbach to do it, and they talked to us about fucking. This was back in 2005, so it was, you know, make sure you have an email address that isn't like, you know, Big Dick McGee at Hotmail or some shit like that, you know, and how to do your resume, and that was it. That was the whole thing.
Like, here's your re-entry
that's what
to the
I'm saying.
world.
It's not just like a mental thing to prepare you. It's business
every
stuff.
Facet.
And I mean, you go have a mental eval, and that's very quick, and you're done. And
right.
I mean, nothing. I mean, unless you're really, really messed up and you show the doctor right then and there you're really messed up.
But I would think a lot of times being messed up doesn't surface until you're back into the day-to-day.
Because a lot of times, you know, people will be fine until a car backfires or, you know, something.
Or they're under tremendous amounts of stress and then all that, you know. Yeah. It just seems like, you know, I don't know. It just seems like we don't do... No, it doesn't seem like we don't. We do not do enough for these men and women that go over there and fight for us and, you know, do things that allow us to live the life and the freedoms we enjoy.
Okay, even like, I'm going to use Chris as an example.
Oh, shit.
If he had gone to combat.
Mm-hmm. He did go to combat.
But I mean, like, on the ground, you know what I mean.
You were like combat support, but...
No, I've flown into hostile fire zones.
I know you...
a lot of times.
But you weren't shooting...
No, I wasn't.
She's trying
on the ground, shooting people, all that. He was never injured or anything. Came back, got out. He can't be seen at the VA. So what happens if a trigger happens?
Not that I would want to.
I know, but I'm saying
still,
what happens
I don't understand.
If there's a trigger... and you have PTSD from that, well, you can't be seen at the VA.
Mm-hmm.
See, and I, as a total
I just get to deal with that.
Civilian, I didn't realize. I just assumed that if you served and you completed your time that you agreed to, you met your conditions. Therefore,
which I did.
There was no dishonor. You know, I mean, I know there are other ways you can get out that aren't. You obviously fucked up, but let's just say I signed up for 5 years, 10 years, whatever, and I did those years, and I completed it honorably. I thought that you would be seen at the VA. I thought that you could get base privileges. I did not understand that.
Yeah, no. So what happens is, and we'll use me as an example since here I am.